This video is going to review evaluating expressions. Now remember, when you're evaluating expressions, you're trying to find a value for a given set of terms, and you're putting a number in place of x, so you're doing some substitution, or a number in place of whatever variable you have. So your answer in the end should just be a value, which means a number, and you should be following the order of operations to solve. Now, don't be afraid to do some writing on this. Don't try to put everything in your calculator in one long line. So remember, for the order of operations, you would take care of parentheses first, then exponents, then you'll do your multiplying and dividing from left to right, and finally you're adding and subtracting from left to right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first example here. We have 3x plus 4, and we want x to be negative 2. So I'm going to put a negative 2 in place of x. That means I'm going to have 3 times negative 2, because 3x means 3 times x plus 4. And now I follow the order of operations, which tells me to do that multiplying first. I get negative 6 plus 4, which adds up to be negative 2. Same thing again, 2x squared minus x plus 1, and I've got x equals negative 3. So we're going to have 2 times negative 3 squared minus 3 times negative 3 plus 1. Now, remember, the order of operations tells us to take care of those exponents first, so we're going to do negative 3 squared, which turns out to be a positive 9. So I'm going to have 2 times 9. 3 times negative 3 is a positive 9 plus 1. Again, we'll multiply that 2 and 9, so we're going to get 18 plus 9 plus 1. And when I add those together, we get a total of 28 for our answer. So be really cautious when you're multiplying two negatives, they equal a positive. And also, when you have an example like this one, 2 times negative 3 squared, that you do the negative 3 squared first. Let's take a look at a couple more examples, and then I'm going to give you some to try. So our next example, we have negative x squared minus 1 for x equals negative 2. Now this one's a little bit different. The reason is this negative is outside of the x squared. That means I'm going to take the negative 2 and square it, but then in the end I have to multiply it still with a negative. That has to come down separate. So when I square that negative 2, it becomes a positive 4, but I still have this negative in the front, so I have to put that one in there as well. Minus 1, and so my answer is negative 5. Finally, we have y cubed minus x for x equals negative 4 and y equals 2. So I'm going to put a 2 in place of the y, and that's going to be 2 cubed. And then I'm going to have minus, and it's important that the minus negative 4, you remember to keep both of those minuses there. The reason, 2 cubed means 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. And then I have minus a negative. Remember, subtracting a negative 4 is really like adding 4. And our answer here is 12. So now what I'd like you to do is try these 4 questions. When you're done with these 4 questions, you should bring them up to the teacher and we'll check them, and if you get them all right, then we'll go on to your concept check.